Kill him, Sam said, shocked. Why? If I tell you, they may need to kill you too. Marwyn smiled a ghastly smile, the juice of the sour leaf running red between his teeth. Who do you think killed all the dragons the last time around? Gallant dragon slayers armed with swords, he spat. The world the citadel is building has no place in it for sorcery or prophecy or glass candles, much less for dragons. Ask yourself why Aemon Targaryen was allowed to waste his life upon the wall, when by rights he should have been raised to Archmaester. His blood was why. He could not be trusted no more than I. What will you do, said Alaris the Sphinx. Get myself to Slaver's Bay. In Aemon's place, the swan ship that delivered Slayer should serve my needs well enough. The gray sheep will send their men on a galley, I don't doubt. With fair winds, I should reach her first. Marwyn glanced at Sam again and frowned. You should stay and forge your chain. If I were you, I would do it quickly. A time will come when you'll be needed on the wall. He turned to the pasty-faced novice. Find Slayer a dry cell. He'll sleep here and help you tend the ravens.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
All right, hello YouTube, and welcome to day 1 of the 25 Days of Winds of Winter event, where I will be daily uploading every single day until Christmas or December 25th. Today's video, we're going to be talking about Samwell Tarly and where he's going to go in the Winds of Winter. Currently, where we left off with the character, he was at Old Town. He had just figured out about this grand conspiracy of the Maesters and how they took down the dragons and all this stuff that he learned from Marwyn. So what is Samwell going to be a part of in the Winds of Winter? Where will he be at by the end and all of that? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. So for me, Samwell in the first half of the book, I think will definitely still be a POV that is at Old Town, trying to find information on the others, possibly Jon's actual birth, like in the show. He will be somebody just trying to get any information that George wants us to know from Old Town. Maybe he can try and figure out more of this Maester conspiracy that's going on. I, for one, have been somebody that talks quite a lot about the Maester conspiracy, especially within the book Fire and Blood, and that's something that Samwell could definitely bring to the table. Maybe he even could warn somebody like Daenerys in the future of possibly the Maester's influence and how that could have led to some of the events leading to the Dance of the Dragons, even some of the deaths of the dragons. So that, I think, will be part of it, right? At the beginning, I think, of his journey will be about those things, trying to become a Maester, all of the things that are going to make him a good Maester for, say, the Wall for Jon, or maybe later in the story, maybe he does become the Grand Maester like in the show. So that's going to be part of it. Now, the other part of it is we know that Euron is likely going to attack Old Town, and so you have to figure out how is that going to go down. I think personally that Samwell has the Horn of Winter. I think that this horn that he ended up finding north of the wall, a lot of attention has been brought to it by George. And why would that be if this horn was just some random throwaway, maybe relic that didn't matter, right? Because he references it when Samwell is going north, that he has the horn with him. They make a big reference to it when they discover the horn. It's brought up a couple times, whether it's Jon or Sam thinking about it. Why is there so much significance with this horn? You also then put that fact of it with the character of Euron Greyjoy, who seems to be, of anyone in Westeros, especially people not north of the wall, or maybe in a Shy, has knowledge of horns himself. He seems to have this understanding of what Dragonbinder does, and he seems to give it to Victarion almost for his own benefits. Like, he almost seems like he's calculating what Victarion is going to try and do. So Euron would be the perfect person to actually be able to figure out that, wait, this horn is more than just this lost historical relic of north of the wall. This has more significance. And so I think Euron and Samwell, their plot lines will be interwoven within Winds of Winter, at least in the first half anyway. Because I believe that Euron is going to bring an apocalypse to Winds of Winter. And so if you want to see more on my actual thoughts, I'm not going to explain it on that. I would wait to when I get to Euron, when I talk about it with JC or the Advocate. We're going to talk all about Euron. So I'm not going to, take this whole time to focus on why I believe Euron's going to do certain things. That's just what I believe, and I'll kind of discuss that later on in this event. But Samwell, from this moment, what does he do? When Old Town is sacked, I don't think Euron is going to necessarily take over Old Town. I think he definitely will inflict some damage on it and all of those things. And the big thing that's going to result from this is probably the wall is going to come down. I think that could be something that definitely could happen. Now, I don't think it necessarily could be in Old Town, right? Euron could take this horn, realizing its significance, and maybe do that more towards the end of the story. Whatever. And so Samwell, I think from this point, has an interesting trajectory to getting back north. I personally think he won't choose to go back by ship. I just think that's too dangerous right now, given Euron Greyjoy's fleet, given Arrayne Waters and the Stepstones, maybe possibly could even be with young Griff at this point. I don't think Sam will take a sea route again, especially he had a bad experience in even getting to Old Town. I think he'll go by land this time. But something else I think that we will end up seeing. I think we will see Sam coming home. We haven't seen Hornhill. We haven't seen really much of the Tarleys at all. I think that we'll see Sam's family before we actually see the end of the story. I think that the show did a okay job of introducing that dynamic. I think there were some weird things they did with it, just like kind of plot holes. But I do think we will end up seeing Hornhill, and I think that will be part of Sam's journey as well. I think overall, Samwell will have to be on his way back to getting north to Jon by the end of Winds of Winter. It's kind of similar to like Daenerys. I think Daenerys has to be like, say, on her way to Westeros or in Westeros. I think Samwell has to at least be on his way back up north. And I think that'll start after Euron basically attacks Old Town. And maybe even Darkstar does it as well at some point. I think that Samwell is going to be a character of getting knowledge, right? Of George being able to put things that he needs to get going into, okay, how do we defeat the others? Maybe some of the tales of defeating the others the first time, maybe the dragon conspiracy stuff, and then all just getting back north and also delivering the Horn of Winter to Euron. I think those are going to be the main things we're going to see with Samwell Tarly in the Winds of Winter. I think Samwell Tarly will be a kind of a minor POV. If you think about Feast for Crows, he's a character that has 5 chapters. I'm somebody that suggests he probably should have even had been fewer than that. He was our POV in A Storm of Swords. He was I'd say a little bit more impactful than he was in, say, Feast. But I again expect him to have quite a small chapter count in the next book. I think we could see maybe anywhere from like 1 to 3 chapters in Old Town. I think we might see a chapter or 2, maybe Journey to Hornhill, and then Hornhill, and then maybe we see another chapter there, whatever. And then I think we'll see, again, him then just heading north after he leaves Hornhill. So I think that generally will be what we cover with Samwell in the Winds of Winter. I think Samwell, the reason I didn't do him in year 1, because I don't know really what else there is to talk about the character. I think, he'll be involved with the politics of the Old Town Maesters and that entire system. We could see into how they are trained more or less, and some of the biases they may have, or even loyalties to their past families. We saw a little bit of that with Pate already. I think we'll get more of that with Sam. I think we'll get a connection to the Greyjoy plot going on, and especially the Southern plot, maybe even a little bit of Darkstar and the Dornish. So that'll all be at the present there. I think also we'll have a connection to the Tarleys and whatever Randall decides to do in the upcoming book. I believe personally that he might switch sides to young Griff. I think that's a very good likely possibility. It would fit a lot of the first Blackfire Rebellion's kind of themes in terms of secondary houses trying to get up to being the number 1 houses, whether that's because of a grievance or whatever they have with their liege lord. Randall Tarly strikes me as somebody that could possibly flip. I think Samwell should see his father one more time. I think we may see that in the next book as well. But let me know what you guys think about Samwell. I don't have a lot I wanted to talk about with Samwell in terms of Winds of Winter. I think it'll be a very interesting character in the book, but I don't think we're going to see necessarily a lot of him. But thank you guys all for stopping in for day 1 of 25 Days of Winds of Winter, year 3. I'll see you guys back tomorrow with Barbary Dustin.